when you look at art, you see different things. You may see sculptures or paintings. You may see paintings of landscapes or buildings or even people. But on today's show, we're going to be speaking to a really well-known celebrity cartoonist who takes these wonderful images and sells them. Hi, this is Joey from the Secret Men's Business Podcast. On today's show, we're going to be speaking to the ever fabulous Brett Willis, who is going to talk to us about Toonarama and how he took his joy of drawing into making it something that everyone can enjoy. Brett, how are you?
G'day, Joey. Good to see you.
You too. You look really good. I don't think I've seen you, God, for a long time. But
Been
you
a
know,
very
the
long
joys
time.
of Facebook is that you can see what people are doing, and you've done so well for yourself. So before we start. I know you do a lot of different things, and you're a Melbourneite, and you're well known in Melbourne. So maybe for those listeners that are listening from overseas or other states, can you just tell us a little bit about you?
Me?
Yeah,
Well, probably a lot of people know me for the cartoons at Toonarama, which is started on Facebook and now it's Instagram and all that. So that's mainly celebrity caricature and cartoons and whatever. But I've also, for the last 20-something years, worked on doors of nightclubs in Melbourne. So I think a lot of people don't know that I'm the same person.
yeah. Well, looking at your 20 years. It's been 20 years. Wow.
It's
Looking
been
at that 20
over
years, you
20
must
years.
know everyone, or you must know a lot of people. So has that been helpful for you to draw, to actually like do them as a caricature? Is that how you say it?
Caricatures.
Sure. Yeah, has that helped you to sort of connect with people?
It has. It's very good for like getting to know people, especially like drag queens or the celebrities,
Yeah,
depending where you work. So it's good as a first point of contact because if you've actually met them, it's easier to draw someone.
yeah. Because
So
I mean, I remember years ago, were you always doing celebrities? Because I remember you did me once, or you did like a group thing,
yeah,
and I think were you doing just what you saw back then, or is it how it evolved from trying to capture what's going on in front of you to then starting to do individuals, or was it always your goal to draw caricatures?
well, your cartoon was part of a newspaper comic strip I used to draw called Paradise Passage.
Right, that's
Yeah, which
right.
was in
Yeah,
NCB, one of the Melbourne gay papers.
yeah,
Yep, and that was mainly about the community and people in the community and different experiences, and you can tell
yeah.
stories through cartoon, and you can.
Yeah, and I guess it's been a staple part of Melbourne's, you know, community for a long time. So can we go back to the beginning and maybe can you share with us how does one know that they can draw? How did you come across your drawing and your ability to enjoy art?
Well, I always loved to draw, and my mum still got like a painting of a rabbit I did in preschool, so
Yeah.
I always liked that. But and I love cartoons and all that. But it wasn't until I was given a Fantastic Four comic book, and I looked at the I don't know if it was the muscles or the lycra or what, but I was only a little kid, and I just went, "Oh my god, I love this!" And whether it
Mm,
was colours or I don't know, but I was in love with superheroes then from then on, and drawing, and I wanted to draw my own.
mm.
So I'd watch TV shows and draw really quickly and try to capture the
The
you know,
essence.
the superheroes or supervillains
Yeah.
or whatever.
But when did you realize that you were good? Like all of us want to draw when we're little, but when I look at people like yourself, and actually I'm interviewing Ross Watson today as well, who does
Right,
sort of
right.
yeah, like
Very,
I look at that work and I go, you make it look like the person. How did you know that you were good? Did you get feedback or did you know?
well, you always got to watch your love, but I didn't think I was good. It was other people telling me I was good,
Right.
which
So
I
you're
made.
okay with people seeing what you were drawing back then.
Oh yeah. Oh well, just like friends at school and um, yeah, I was always known as a drawer because I'd always be drawing, and
Mm.
obviously the more you do something, the better you get as well. So it's all practice.
Yeah. And what do you because I'm interviewing you and another artist, I thought,
Yeah.
okay, this is an interesting question because when you do what you love, everyone feels differently. So what do you feel when you're drawing? What do you acknowledge with yourself? Like, how some people say when they sing they feel like they're free. Like,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, what do you feel? Because you do a lot of it, so you must love it.
yeah, it's a real passion. I know when like I draw every day, pretty much, and if I
Mm.
don't draw, I get a bit, you know, anxious or whatever. So it's almost like a meditation, I guess.
Yeah.
And obviously the medium's changed because I used to do everything by hand, and now I draw it by hand and then scan the line work and then color digitally.
Oh.
So, so I had to move the times
No,
because
no, it's cool. I actually wondered that. I wondered how on earth you did that. I don't know if I thought that you probably. I thought you were still doing it by hand now, and I did wonder like that's a lot of work,
yeah,
right? And it's interesting when I watch Ross Watson paint. You know those big paintings he does.
yeah,
He
massive,
can he can sometimes do a
and
whole one in a day.
that's amazing. So
I know. So it is amazing how when you're skilled at something, like you know exactly what you're doing and all that. So what are you looking for? What are the things that you look for when it comes to drawing someone?
Um, see, it's a lot easier to draw someone that I've met or know because you've got a feeling of their personality and what they're like. Like seeing someone on the TV is fine, but it's very difficult when you're doing a commission, especially, and people send you photos from like 10 years ago and they're like this big
Oh,
and at different angles your face changes as well. So if I only get like one reference photo, so you need a lot of reference for someone you don't know. But
yeah,
knowing someone, you get more a gist of what they're like, and you try and get a bit of their personality into the
yeah,
drawing.
yeah. Are you looking for do you look for something that is like stands out? You know what I mean? Like, or are you looking? You know what I mean? Like, because it's a caricature. Do you look for things that are prominent and then highlight that more? Like I love. You know what I love? I love your drawing of Gina from The Real Housewives.
Oh,
Like, I just really love the hair and everything. So, do you look for things like that?
yeah, you definitely look for features. Like you've
Yeah.
got to capture the likeness, obviously, first. With my work, it's a little different because I kind of started with a bit of political cartooning, which is more the exaggerated,
Mm.
ugly, and it makes people look ugly. Whereas I wanted to make people look their absolute best. And like
Yeah.
one of the footballers said, it was aspirational cartooning. So
Yeah.
they
Like you can
look
see
like
that
that.
now. You've come a long way, haven't you? Like you've got like technology is amazing, isn't it? How you can get everything looking sharp and but still your drawings.
Oh yeah.
So
Well,
what
through
are
the
some
internet, the reference.
the
Like I can get
reference? What
so
do you
much.
mean?
Well, I can get so much reference now off the internet. Whereas back doing the Paradise Passage cartoon strip, if I
Mm,
was drawing like, oh well, not you because I knew you, but people in the community that I didn't know, I had like focus magazines,
yeah,
and there was like one little photo, and that's all I had to work to get
yeah.
a likeness from.
Have you ever
So
drawn? Have you ever drawn yourself?
yeah, I had to for the first Toonarama exhibition, did a caricature of myself.
And was it okay?
Yeah, well, I got myself muscles, so I was happy.
Yeah. What you've done a lot. I went through your catalog. It took me ages to like save everything. So I've got everything now. Like
Right.
um, so I can reference it in this interview. Like, what would be some of your highlighted works? Like, you've met a lot of people. You've actually touched a lot of people. So, what would be something? Does anything stand out as something that really like impacted you?
Uh,
Any particular work or any particular
well,
person?
well, with Toonarama, I try to draw people that inspire me or newsworthy, like they're in the news or they've done something.
Mm,
But inspirational people, like I've got a list of people that I would never draw because they're horrible people.
yeah.
But I, but it's Toonarama's like an uplifting, inspirational sort of thing. Uh,
Yeah. So, but have you met anyone like? 'Cause I saw lots of photos of you with the people, right, shaking hands and all that. So, was there anyone that you were rapt to meet, or someone that thought was, or are you pretty neutral when it comes to your art?
uh, well, the footballers were funny if you're talking about Melbourne Storm guys.
God, you're naughty,
Well,
yeah.
yeah,
I noticed. I noticed there's a lot of footballers on that.
there are a lot. Well, yeah, because I like to do sets. So unfortunately, say with the Melbourne Storm, I had to draw the entire team, which took quite a few years.
Yeah.
Um, and then they keep chopping and changing players. But they were funny because they used to go to a club that I worked at. And after drawing a couple of them, they'd message me on whatever that they were coming in, so I'd have their print with them and give them the print,
Yeah.
get the sign and all that. But then the other players who didn't have one would all be like, "Oh, I want one. Can I have one?" And so they're all excited.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
yeah, they were
So
nice.
how did that relationship start? Did you draw first and they saw, or did they know that you were drawing and then they connected with you?
Well, the very first one was actually Billy Slater, who was
I remember that one.
yeah. Well, that started because I'd just drawn a cartoon of him. Can't remember why I drew it, but when I was working at the market, someone came and said, "Billy Slater's using your cartoon as his profile picture on Facebook."
Wow.
What? So I looked it up and he was, and sent him a message and he didn't reply. And that was early on. Years later, when I was refining the style and all that, I did a new Billy Slater too, and thought I'll be cheeky and I like direct message it to him. And
Did he reply?
he came back and said, "Oh, I really like your work." Nicole and him were engaged and about to get married, and he asked if I'd do their wedding invitation caricatures, and so that's
Wow.
how it started with the Storm. And then I started doing more Storm, and
And then sort of went from there because there's other football teams as well. So do you feel like now there's a reputation? Because you said before about commissioned work. So are you finding that people are coming to you now because of your reputation?
well, that's through Facebook.
Yeah.
So I mean, if one of the footballers posts a photo holding his tune or whatever, I always get lots of football fans coming through. And when the drag queens post theirs, I get lots of drag fans.
Yeah. Okay.
And I recently drew a Scottish Fold cat. I'm getting so many cat fans now. So it's very,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's cool. So have you experienced? Has it left Melbourne? Like, have you felt that your work is becoming like LA or are you getting any international people? Because you do like celebrities. So have they been? Has there been any connection with them, or do you send them a copy of the picture?
I don't. Where possible, I tag like on Instagram and whatever. I mean,
Yeah,
on Instagram, like what's her name, Samantha from Sex and the City, um,
you
like
liked it.
Kim Cattrall, reposted her cartoon, and Loretta Swit from MASH.
Yeah,
So they repost them, which is really cool when they do that.
yeah, because that's what I
Um,
mean. It's like you could see how this could grow if all you need is one or two celebrities to endorse it, and then it
you
becomes
need
this thing,
Gaga.
doesn't it?
Yeah.
You need Gaga.
Funniest one was I got a phone call once, and obviously I answered. He goes, "Hello, it's Barry Humphries here," and I'm like, "Oh, hello, Barry Humphries here." I thought it was a friend mucking around, and he kept talking. Like, "Oh my god, it is Barry Humphries!"
Oh my
And
god.
he'd seen a caricature I'd done of Dame Edna and loved it, and was asking about getting
Yeah,
his collection and all that. So
that's
that was
good.
very very nice.
Yeah, like you need like that, and you need Elton John, those sort of people. Have you done Russell Tovey?
Oh, from
I'm looking.
Being Human.
Yeah,
Oh,
looking
Being
as.
Human, the werewolf
Oh
as
my
well.
god, I love him. If you can do him, I'll buy it.
Yes. Well,
I run the Russell Tovey fan
I
club. Yes.
no, I'm a fan of
No
his.
one's supposed to know that, but like, that's he's one of my favorite actors. So yeah, like I will talk to you offline about that because I just think he's adorable. But
Yeah,
I
and
want
he
to.
to draw as well with those ears.
Yeah, those ears. Ugh. You said before that when you're drawing, you're like, it's like a mindfulness thing for you. You're like totally engaging in that. So, because this is a men's only mental health podcast, like, how do you self care for yourself in regards to dealing with stress? Like, how did you go last year, say, during coronavirus, like to manage your mental health?
See, because I had drawing, which was good.
So drawing is a big thing for you.
Yeah, well, drawing in gym,
Yeah.
so the physical, so walks and all that. But
Mm.
having gym cut off,
Yeah.
notice a big difference because obviously weight gain and body image and all that sort of stuff was down
But
the.
yeah, because you actually go to the gym quite like regularly, don't you?
Well, I have to because I'm a chocolate addict. So yeah,
Well,
I've got
did you think about not having chocolate during lockdown?
oh no, chocolate got me through lockdown, but unfortunately
Did
also
you ride the bike behind you much?
I did. Luckily a friend of mine led me there because I'm
Yeah.
only in a very small apartment and I wasn't pre-prepared for lockdown with weights and stuff like that. So it was all
Yeah.
like,
I found that I really found that I loved the on YouTube sort of thing. I just went on YouTube and just did
yeah,
something different every
I
day. Like,
found a few routines from that. But
yeah, and I guess if you are living in a small apartment, I live in a house. It would be I wouldn't even yeah, I wouldn't know what that would feel like. I had a backyard and all that. Talking about that, and you said earlier before we went online that you noticed that the clubs are reopening, and you're going to go and do some of that work, and you've been doing that for a long time. What do you feel has been the biggest change when it comes to you observing like crowds? Like, have people become nicer? Have people become more
no,
impolite?
no,
So, what's your interpretation of how people have changed?
no. Well, obviously, when I started, I think crowd controllers and security were only newly regulated.
Mm.
So before my time, it was all like the thugs when they didn't wear tags.
Yeah, yeah, they were big shaved head men, weren't they?
Yeah, very scary. And people were scared of security because you know,
Yeah.
you wouldn't be treated as nice as you have to now.
Mm.
I don't know if that's had an influence, but people are more entitled or feel more entitled now.
So, are they rude?
They're, well, they're nice to you until you say no,
Yeah.
and
I
then
mean, like, yeah. I mean, I remember
they
you
want more
being the
attention.
most generous person. Like, you always said hello to everyone. So, I'm guessing that you haven't changed. So, even that behavior hasn't changed the people. So, you're a nice guy. So, are they still being entitled when they know that you're nice?
Well, they're entitled because they deserve whether it's jumping the queue or the amount of people that want free entry, that sort of stuff.
Right.
And
Okay. And
that's
how do you manage that? How do you with that being a change? How do you manage that so you don't, or do you just do people just go off?
no, well, like you, my job is to you know be like the doorman and meet and greet and that sort of stuff. So to a point, you're
Mm,
friendly. If they push the point,
yeah.
they get the you know
Yeah. And
they get the not
the entitled thing that you said, is that, are we talking about the younger generation, or are we talking about everyone?
mainly younger generations because of
Yeah.
the fun side, mainly females.
Really? Yeah,
I
because I was
think
wondering about the younger generation, how they would see things versus when we were out. We didn't have Instagram and Facebook and all that, so we just, you know,
we all went influencers back then.
yeah,
The girls are the funniest because being a male, they just assume that I'm straight,
mm.
and they'll come up and flutter the eyelashes and to get in or whatever, and it doesn't work, and like that, they turn. The
Well,
security,
I remember going up to you and fluttering my eyelids, and I'd get in for free.
well, see, that would probably work, but
Well, that's what it was funny. Like, thinking back when I was like getting ready to interview you, like back in the day when everything was underground. Remember, like those days when there was the market and there was only, there wasn't many places, and we didn't have Instagram and all that. It was all underground. I mean, is it totally different now because everything's out in the open? Do you know what I mean? Like, being at a club now would be so different to back then when it was special, I
oh,
thought. I
yeah.
mean,
Well, when I first started, you couldn't wear runners in a club. Like it was dress shoes, and even
yeah.
denim was a bit depends on the venue.
Mm,
Now it's like you know,
yeah.
it
So,
depends on the venue you're working, obviously.
yeah, yeah. But,
But
like, I just think that it's interesting because you've been there for all that time and things have changed. Like, it's changed so much in regards to even the way people socialize now. Like,
oh yeah,
even like apps have changed the way that we go out. Like, some people don't go out because they're at home. So, again, going back to the early 90s and the early 2000s, it was very much our only way to connect.
well
You know,
exactly.
yeah,
Whereas
going out.
wasn't grinder and the
Or even Facebook, so it's a totally different thing. So I guess you're saying that people still go out.
people still go out.
Is it the same though?
Uh,
Or is it just a different vibe?
uh, well, there are a lot more venues,
Yeah,
and if you're talking specifically gay men, before you had a choice of like
yeah, heaps.
this many,
Mm,
whereas now you can go to any bar or whatever and in Melbourne and
It
not have
doesn't
it.
matter. It doesn't matter,
I
does
mean,
it?
some you might, but
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
generally,
like, yeah. So the majority of bars around the world that are gay or LGBTIQI, they're all slowly closing down. So that's the reason then, because you can go anywhere now. You don't need specific places. Like I think the new generation don't really care about community, or they don't want to be pigeonholed. Well, I enjoyed that whole commercial road, vibe of going to have breakfast, at Blue Elephant and going to Virgin Mary's and all that. That's not there anymore, is it? Like people just don't want to do that anymore. So I guess it's their journey now. They have to do things differently.
yeah, exactly. And we got to experience that. I mean, commercial road with like 151 and Three Faces and the Exchange and all that. It
Mm,
was a real community
yeah.
feeling. And you also had like the dance parties like Winter Days and Red Raw and that, which was lesbian, gay guys, bisexual,
Yeah. But
straight,
again, it was the
everyone,
community thing. The community
everyone
thing,
together.
yeah, the community's no longer, I don't even know where to go to find a community now. You know what I
Well,
mean? Like, where do you go? Remember, we used to have the streets, and we used to have. So now it's sort of virtual. The community is now online.
pretty
It's
much,
no longer actually going to a street or a venue.
yeah. Which is
Yeah.
a shame. It's a big shame.
Well, I thought that too. Is it a big shame, or is it the fact that we're just old? Because I always think about my parents and how they used to tell me what they used to do. They used to go to
I've
hall
got on
dances. So we've all like now it's us. Now we're saying, oh my god, we went to Red Raw the good old days, and so it is progressive.
yeah, it's changed. Well, I guess we're just feeling sad because they don't get to experience what we experienced.
Yeah. Um, so before we finish, where do you feel that you're going to take Toonarama in the future? Like, do you have like a vision, or do you have a hope, or something that you'd like to see happen, or maybe a person that you'd like to draw?
Yeah, well, this year, so 2021,
One.
will be the 10th Toonarama exhibition. So I've done an annual exhibition every year up until this year. So planning something a bit exciting for them. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's time for a new direction, but I just haven't decided what the new direction will be.
Oh, like a new direction, meaning different types of drawings.
Yeah,
Yeah.
new direction.
That's good. And what advice would you give our listeners if they're into, say if someone is listening and they want to do a gallery exhibition, or they want to just step out of their comfort zone and show their work, what would you say to them? Like, can you think back to when you had your first one? What advice would you give them?
So that's a hard one because oh well see I had my first one as part of a group exhibition and that would probably be a good first experience
Yeah.
because you're learning about setting up like you've got to hang stuff and well you've got to do the work, you've got to get it framed, you've got to all that. So there's a lot of processes. So working with
Like
was my
yeah.
first exhibition, but working with established artists who exhibited before, they sort of showed me a bit. And
Yeah.
then doing my own one, I was very lucky to fall in with Art Boy Gallery on Greville Street, which
Mm.
was very pop and fun and really suited my work. And they were very good to work for, and I had 4 exhibitions with them. Um, so yeah, find a good gallery, but they're going to take a big
Yeah.
commission.
And do you think that they should just, do you think that there needs to be a part of you that just says, I'm going to do it? You know what I mean? Rather than being nervous. Because I think a lot of times I hear people saying, oh, I can't do it till I'm perfect, or I can't do it till I've got more better work. I mean, do you believe that people should just do it?
Yeah, just do it. I mean, I
Yeah.
look at my work back then and I cringe, but back then I thought it was real good
Yeah.
in my mind. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, but
Can I
today,
ask?
I mean,
Go, go
I
on.
exhibit at a cafe now, so I've got a permanent wall of Toons at a cafe, and that's
Yeah.
a really good thing because they've got artwork on display, and I
Mm.
make sales from them. So that's a
Yeah.
really good relationship with that. So that's another option to a gallery.
Yeah.
And
So
I've
go to a
always
cafe or something.
wanted
What
a cafe.
about what about your online presence? Do you think it's a good opportunity for them to do something online, or do you think that people need to still use galleries?
Uh, Offline's online is good for displaying your work and building an audience.
Mm.
Um, but I mean, last year because of COVID, I had to do an online. We created a video instead of the exhibition opening night, and sales were really really bad. So
Yeah.
I think people actually want to, if you're going to buy something, people actually want to see it.
Yeah, you're
And
right.
part of the, yeah. So
Yeah,
you need to have
yeah.
a physical presence as well as
Yeah,
an online
it's
presence.
yeah, because every time I go to like a small exhibition of like a friend or the Midsummer, I always buy something. You're right. Like if I look at the online, I just look
The
at it.
champagne helps that.
Well, yeah, champagne, but also you can touch, you can see it. You're right.
Yeah,
This is a bit of a personal question, and I don't want to know prices, but like I've always been curious to know how does an artist like how do you come up with the price? You know what I mean? Like, how do you think about it? Does someone tell you that you should charge that much, or do you look at it based on hours that you work, or how do you know what I mean?
it can't be hours work because that would be you. No one could. Well, like James Packer could, but no one else could pay the price for hourly work. I basically based mine on like the Cartoonist Association rates.
Right. Okay.
I think that's the name of their thing. That they like publish for certain pieces.
Yeah.
But different people, you know.
Well, I guess it's also got to because, like, I remember buying. I know I keep talking about Ross Watson, but I remember buying a Ross Watson at the beginning, and it was good. And like now, I look at like I go, oh my god. So like it also must. It's got to do with I think the amount of people that want the work. And I think don't you feel like you're getting to that point where your work's getting more and more recognized? So maybe you can increase the prices because people know what a Brett Willis is.
Yeah, true. But I mean, money's good, but it's not all about the money
Sure.
for me.
Yeah.
It's more the fun and the passion and
But
like
they're one-offs, aren't they? They're one-offs, so they're collectibles.
no, they're prints.
Right, okay.
That's
So do you have, like, a range of prints that you do?
yeah, the exhibition prints are limited edition.
Yeah, yeah.
So like the first exhibition I had, we sold out of like George Michael and Patsy Stone and so all these popular ones.
Yeah.
So they're
Okay.
limited edition because of now it has to be scanned. It can't be all original
Right,
the
okay.
way I work.
Yeah. So
I can
I need to contact you because I do want my Russell Tovey.
yes. Well, he's a good one. Yeah, he's been on my list to want.
Yeah, I've actually been seeing he's kind of he's done he runs the podcast, the art podcast. He's really into art, and so at the moment he's doing this thing where people are sending drawings of him, and oh my god, they're so bad. They're really bad, but he posts them on Instagram, and I go, "Good on you. He's so good. He's a good man. That one."
I like that because you get to see different people's different styles.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like there's a lot of different styles. Some are
Yes.
good, some are really bad. Brett, thank you so much. I know that you're busy, and I know that you like have lots of things to do and all that. But I want to promote your next exhibition. So do you know when that is? Can we plug it? You don't
No,
know yet?
no. At the moment, we're doing the best tune competition on Facebook.
Okay. I'll
So
link I'll link all your Facebook and all your socials onto this podcast so everyone can connect with you. And also, as you would have noticed, everyone, while we've been doing this interview, you've been witness to all of Brett's wonderful work. So you have an idea now of how talented he is by all the pictures I've posted. So Brett, thank you so much.
thank you. Great to talk to you.
You too. You've been listening to the Secret Men's Business podcast. So don't forget that the podcast is out on Mondays and Thursdays at 9 a.m. Okay, so don't forget to subscribe, and we'll send you all the notifications of any new episodes. Have a great week, guys. Bye.